Hi guys, it's Mina. Thanks so much for coming to hang out with me again. This is the dried result of the piece we're going to be working on today. So the reason I wanted to show you guys this video was to introduce you to my mildly dirty cup for pouring. The colors that I'm using today as a base coat, I'm using this Art Minds, can you see, metallic, this is metallic bronze. It's not very, very bronzy, but it's not too bad. I have this a little bit thinned out more because I'm going to use it as a base coat. Then I have the good stuff. This is Golden's Iridescent Copper. I've used the full-bodied paint, and I like it better than the very, very thin fluid stuff, because that one is much harder to thicken it up than it is to thin it out. So I have also added a touch of Elmer's Glue All to that to give it some more body, because you know the stuff's expensive. So that's this one, the Golden's Iridescent Copper. I also have a combination here. This is the DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics in 24 karat gold. And I'm also using the vintage brass today, and I have mixed the two of them up pretty much equally in this cup. It kind of gives it a two-toned effect because they are a little bit different. So it just sort of gives it like a built-in shadow, which is kind of neat. I liked it when I did that last time by accident, so I'm going to do it again. The brown that I'm using is my Liquitex Basics Burnt Umber. This color I'm going to call Metallic Cobalt, but it is not, where is it? It's not the Artist Loft Metallic Cobalt. It's me trying to make this, which is pretty close actually. I used Cobalt Blue and Gold, and then I added some Phthalo Green until it was the color that I want. And I really like that. I especially like it with the browns and the golds and the copper. The last time I did this, I added a lot of copper, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to go easier on the copper. But of course, this is just a test one. So let's see what happens. Okay, I've had to turn the air conditioning on. I'm sorry, so if it's a little bit louder, because it's very hot all of a sudden this weekend. All right, so first I'm going to pour a base coat, just a little bit in the middle. So usually I pour outside, but because it is so hot and it is so sunny, that would not be a good idea, because the first thing that happened is my paint would set up along the edges, and then this is like a blob right there. And the whole pour would not work, and I would be very, very unhappy. So I'm not going to do it outside. I've actually started pouring inside my little paint shed. Hence this interesting view you have here. And I have a garbage can right here, and I'm just going to tilt off extras just right into the garbage can to try to avoid making a mess. It's actually a pretty color. It's very soft. I don't know if I would call it bronze necessarily, but this is the Art Minds brand, I guess, from Michaels. And it's okay, and I knew that, which is, I expected it, which is why I'm using it as the base coat rather than, for example, using the Golden's Copper, which is the good stuff, and I want that to show in the pour. But this, I figured, you know, if cells pop up underneath, that's great. If not, then that's okay too. But it'll give my paint something to slide on, and that's mostly what I want. So just gonna put a little bit more. I'm tired of futzing with this. It's not going to matter anyway. Okay, so base coat is poured. Just dribble a little bit off the edge to get it nice and pretty. My sides are covered. That's good enough. This is just a test canvas. Although I have to say, I have started using the little gallery wrapped ones for my test pieces, because as much as I hate to say it, half the time they come out much better than the big ones I do. So, okay, let's move this over a bit, and we will now get our cup ready. Oh, one thing that I did do, I mixed my paints with Liquitex pouring medium. Nice, lovely, brand new bottle there, which I love this stuff. It's so amazing. And I also put in a touch of the High Gloss Varnish, because I noticed that's not the glossy medium. That just says pouring medium on it. Okay. One thing that I want to mention over here is the way that I've set up my pouring cup is not a completely dirty cup, and it's not a layered cup. It's sort of a combination of both, which I'm calling the mildly dirty cup. So you guys will see what I'm talking about. So what I want is dark brown, the burnt umber, which I did actually add a touch of black to darken it up a little bit more. I want that as my background and my center. So, and then on top of that, I want a little bit of gold, and then some of the copper and the blue and the white, or not white. Oh, I didn't say this one. This one was parchment. It's Liquitex Basics Parchment, but it was this weird kind of greenish, I don't know if it was the light in here or what, but I added a little bit of the burnt umber to it, and now it's like this nice coffee-ish sort of mocha color, which I'm fine with. That's cool. I haven't been using as much pure white lately just because it seems to be so glaringly contrasty. I'd rather use a slightly softer, like the white with a little bit of brown in it, or a little bit of gold in it, or a little bit of something in it, just to give it a little bit more contrast. So anyway, all of that was to tell you I'm going to put brown in the bottom of the cup first because I want that to come out in the center. So I also wanted to do a dirty pour. Okay, so this is where I need to be brave. Now I'm going to go with the gold. I'm going to pour that in the center. And then I'm also going to add just a tiny bit on the side. See what happens. And then I think I want to use some of this light creamy color. Again, pouring from up high. And then I'm also going to pour some down the side. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. And then let's use some of the blue, the Metallic Cobalt Blue. Pour some there, and yeah, we'll just have that layer on the top. And then we're going to put a little bit more of the creamy color and some copper. So the fact that the first two layers were kind of a dirty pour, and the ones on top of that have turned into a layered pour, should give us more concentrated color on the outside rings and more blending on the inside. So if I'm right, that's what's going to happen. If I'm wrong, we'll get mud. So, alright. So because I poured it from this edge, I'm going to pour that from this edge too. Just turn my cup, make a little pinch. I'm going to wipe my hands off real quick, sorry. Okay, sorry. It's been so hot. I've actually been mixing paint without gloves because it gets too slippery. But for pouring, I do want gloves on, especially the tilting part, because that's when I tend to get really messy. It's so funny. Yesterday I was going to my daughter's musical thing, and you know, I wanted to look like one of the moms, not like, you know, this paint-covered creature. So I scrubbed. I washed and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed my hands and my nails and arms and forearms, everything for like 20 minutes. Got everything off, got dressed. We go there, I sit down, and I pick up the program, and then I turn my arm over, and I had all this paint still on the side. But anyway, okay, so here we go. We're going to do a straight pour right into the center. This is probably too much paint, but here we go anyway. Okay, and I'm going to try not, you know what? I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper down. Just to facilitate cleanup a little bit. Because I'd rather paint than clean, so. Okay. Can we see? Yes, we can. Here we go. Straight pour, dirty / layered cup. This should be interesting. Here we go. I hope my paint's not too thick. Ooh, that's kind of neat though. Put a lot of blue in there. Tilt off. It's tilting off. Okay. Alright. Well, that's cool. So let's tilt this. I love the center. So, obviously there's way too much paint on here. So we'll tilt some of this off a little bit. Come back. That way. Over this way now. See where the layers were? That's more solid. I'm going to get rid of that though. And there we go. So now we wait just a moment or two. I'm going to wipe my hands off again. And then we will torch it and see what happens. And that's the part where my memory card was full and my camera stopped recording. So I really enjoyed doing this piece. I did torch it and then let it dry, and you see the end result here in front of you. I love those gold cells that popped up on the upper left side on top of the dark brown. That floating cell thing is just, I've been kind of obsessed with it. And the beautiful cobalt metallic in the middle, that's essentially what you're looking at, is the very center of the straight pour. So everything that was on the edges got tilted off, including my copper, which I'm a little bummed about, but it's important to remember whatever you put in the bottom of your cup is going to come out and end up in the center of your canvas, and whatever you put on the top layers of your cup is going to come out of the cup first and end up on the outer rings and probably get tilted off, which is what happened to my copper here. But that's okay. I still really like this little piece, and it was turned out really beautiful. The gold was nice and shiny and plays nicely with that blue. So, and the brown was a great background. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I thank you so much for coming to hang out with me and seeing what I'm up to and playing with and experimenting with today. And I will see you guys for the next one. Have a great night. Bye.